Hey, hello, it's Rochelle, Legacy Home and Garden. I'm currently at work, so don't tell the boss. Hey, I just wanted to say I really haven't been posting a lot of videos lately, and I'm sorry about that, but you know, life. But my garden is exploding. There's so many great things going on there. I didn't even really get to take a lot of videos of when I was doing it, things like that. I took a few and kind of pieced them together, so I'm not going to try and backtrack, just going to go forward. But what I want to tell you was, yesterday I had the day off, so I actually did some tinctures and started infusing some herbs and stuff to make salve or salve, however you want to say it. It's the same word. It's just people pronounce it different. I always said salve, but people say salve. Oh well. Anyway, so that's what this little clip here is about. It's just about the beginning of making, infusing some flowers and some herbs and things like that, and on making a couple of little tinctures. So I'm going to hope you follow along. Okay, what I want to share with you is that I went out this morning and I picked marigolds, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually make a salve out of this for minor cuts and scrapes, scratches, things like that on your skin. It's called Marigold Salve. A lot of people use marigolds and call it Calendula salve, and it's because calendula flowers in Europe are called pot marigolds. In other words, that's what they're called. So some people grow marigolds, make salve, call it calendula salve, when it's really marigold salve. And some people say marigold and calendula are the same thing. They're not. Calendula in Europe is called marigold, and that's why some people here call this calendula salve, but it's not. It's marigold salve. It's great. I made some last year. You can also make calendula salve the exact same way. But they're for cuts, scrapes, burns, great for burns, not for deep gouges or wounds or anything like that. But this is my first. I went ahead and picked these so I could get a small batch made for my mom. You can dry these and make your salve, or you can use them fresh. If you dry them, you can infuse them in oil a lot longer. If you're using fresh plant material, you don't want to go that long because it's moist. There's still moisture in the flower and in the stem, and that can cause it to go rancid, go bad. So, but you can still use fresh plant material, okay? There's no reason that you can't, and you can still infuse it in oil in a cool, dark place for about 3 to 4 weeks if you're using a dry plant material. So if I took these and dehydrated them and had them dry, I could use them that way, or I could leave them out in the sun or in my greenhouse or in a closet. There's multiple ways to dry your flowers. You can cure them, you can dehydrate them, you can lay them out to naturally dry. Or you can use fresh plant material. Just use caution when you do, because you don't want to let it sit in there in a cool, dark place in oil and infuse. You know, water and oil don't mix. So you want to let them dry a little bit, like air dry, but you don't have to have them crispy, or you can just do them straight out of the garden like I'm doing right now. And I'll only let these steep for about 3 weeks, and then I'll make my salve. Now, you probably will get stronger medicinal use out of them if you let them dry and let them infuse longer. However, I'm making a quick batch for my mom, and it'll work just as good for the issues that she has. So, my first batch of the year. Okay, guys. Hey, welcome back. Legacy Home and Garden. What I've got going on here is I put... now what you want to do after you get your plant material, okay, whether it's dried, cured, dehydrated, however you chose to dry it, or use fresh, you can infuse that in oil of your choice. A lot of people use olive oil. You can use avocado oil, almond oil, grapeseed oil if you're going to be using it on your face, because they say that's more cosmetic. Today, I happen to be using sunflower oil. Sunflower oil is really good for your skin, too. I mean, it's super. A lot of people maybe cook with it or do salads and stuff with it, but it just feels so smooth and so wonderful. I'm just wiping it off the counter here, what I got on the counter. And so soft on your hands. But, so I'm going to infuse this, and I have this little baking tool. This is Pampered Chef. But this part you use to test if your cakes and things are done. This end here you use to go around the pan, but I happen to use it to poke down in my plant material because I want to make sure I got all the air bubbles and everything out. And I left a little bit of headspace right here, but the most important thing is that you want to make sure that your flowers are covered, okay? So what I've done is I've went ahead and done that, and now I'm going to want to put just a little bit more oil in here so it doesn't, and this oil is just, it is amazing. Now listen, if you don't have sunflower oil, almond oil, and all those things, don't stress about it. Get yourself some olive oil. Don't use vegetable oil. Do not. No, 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 no. Any other kind of oil is fine. Then all you're going to do is you're going to take your lid, okay, and you can put your lid on, and you're going to put this on it and just do that, okay. I give it a good little shake. Mix it up. Okay, I'm going to go sit this in my pantry for about 3 weeks. So I don't label this. Here's why. I have a calendar inside my pantry, and I know I only do certain things at certain times. So if I was doing a variety of a whole bunch of stuff, I'd label this. But I'm going to mark right on my calendar that today I put this in, that it was fresh plant material. And I'll mark on my calendar, it's a magnetic calendar, it's awesome, when this is due to be out. And I'm in my pantry every single day, so I see what I've got going on. In fact, while I went in there to make sure I had room to, isn't that beautiful? Can we just stop for a second and look at the beauty in that color? When I went in there, I went ahead and pulled out one that I've had infusing for 3 weeks, okay? And I wanted to show it to you. Now, this one I used olive oil, extra virgin olive oil, cold pressed. All the oils that I use are USDA stamped and approved. They're all organic. I mean, it costs a lot more, but the end result, in my opinion, is awesome. They're all organic. They're cold pressed, which means when heat gets to your herbs, it starts losing already the medicinal properties. So it's real important to cold press and purify when they harvest the olives for the oil. It's quite a process. If you've never really studied it, just read up on it a little bit. It's quite impressive. And after you've done that, you'll realize why it's quite expensive. You don't have to use organic. You don't have to use all of that. I just choose to do that. This is Comfrey. I obtained a Comfrey root, grew it in my garden. I do not use any herbicides, pesticides, or anything. My garden is completely 100% organic, period. I use heirloom seeds. I don't take plants and stuff from, I don't buy plants. I start everything from seed. Now, I didn't always garden that way, but because I want to do organic, that's how I do it. I save my seeds and plant the next year my seeds. If I do buy seeds, I buy from reputable companies. I use Baker Creek, I use M.I. Gardner, I use Haas Tools, things like that. Anyway, so all of my flowers, all of my food, and all of my herbs are grown organically in my garden. My Comfrey gets nothing but fish emulsion and neem oil, regular watering. It grows like crazy. This is actually the first batch that I harvest this year of Comfrey leaves. And I went and I put it in this, and you don't even know what size jar this is, to be honest with you. It's not a gallon, so it must be half gallon maybe, because it's bigger than this one. I don't know. And I have had this one in there steeping infusing, covered in olive oil, Comfrey infusing I put it in on May 8th. So I have it that it should be ready by the 15th or 16th of June. I have it on my calendar marked, but I just wanted to pull this one out and show it to you. Look at this good dark green color. Isn't that amazing? Now, what you can do is, I'm doing it for the arthritis, but I could take this top off right here and just dip in and use some oil, Comfrey oil right there. Okay, we'll talk later about the difference between salves and balms. It's just the way that you make it, whether or not you want a salve that you're going to use on the top of your skin and have it absorb down, and if you're going to use a balm for like more massaging into your muscles and stuff like that. But I just wanted to show you one that's been infusing. Look at that rich dark green color. So the olive oil is infusing into these comfrey leaves and drawing out all the medicinal purposes that I'm going to need for aches and pains in your muscles, your joints, a broken bone area that's irritating you, pulled ligaments, pulled shoulder, any of that. This is a great salve to have on hand, especially if you're older. This Marigold Salve that I'm making is from marigolds that I grew last year and harvested the seeds and then grew again this year. Started in my dining room, moved out to my greenhouse, planted in my garden, and harvested. So that's enough about that. I just wanted to show you the process just real quick. It's so simple. I mean, it's crazy how easy it is. And this will be ready for my mom in about 3 weeks, and she will be very happy, and so will I. Hi everyone, Rochelle, Legacy Home and Garden. I'm in the kitchen today making a really fast, quick, simple tincture for pain killing. So if you've got internal some aches and pains going on, if you've got something on your skin, a muscle or something that's bothering you, tooth, whatever, this is a really simple, easy pain killing tincture. So what I've done is I have these cinnamon sticks. I'm just going to show you really fast. I mean, it took me like 2 minutes to do this. The cinnamon sticks, this is really what you want to use. Just going to take these. You're going to wrap them in some wax paper, which, sorry, I've already done that. Put it in the wax paper. Use your mallet. Break them up. You need 2 tablespoons of that. And this is a baby food jar. So in here is 2 tablespoons of broken up cinnamon sticks. You're going to need 1 tablespoon of whole cloves. So you want the whole cloves, stem and all. See? Have you seen? Some people even chew on these cloves for bad breath. You can also put those down and kind of like crush them down and use it right around your gum if you're having a toothache, anything like that. But for this purpose, I'm using, well, as I spill them, 1 tablespoon of whole cloves, and I'm going to just put these in here with my cinnamon sticks. I need 1 more ingredient, and I'm done. The other ingredient I need is 2 ounces of 80 proof vodka. So I'm just going to take that. I'm going to pour it over my cinnamon and my cloves. I am going to grab, I tend to have a chopstick. I bought these for hardly nothing. I keep them in the kitchen for mixing waxes and stuff. Just going to mix that up a little bit. Oh, the cinnamon and clove smell so good. Put this lid on really tight. Put this in a nice sunny window for about 48 to 72 hours, okay? And then all you're going to do is strain this off through a coffee filter or a cheesecloth. Then you're going to take a dark tincture bottle like this, which has got this little syringe on the bottom. You're going to strain this. You're going to put it in a dark tincture bottle, and you can put a drop under your tongue 2 to 3 times a day. If you've got a specific ache, maybe here, you got a shot. Let's say you got a shot and your arm's aching right here. You can just put a drop or 2 right there and rub that in. This is a good pain killer for your needs. I mean, you can even put a couple of drops in your coffee. You could put it in your tea. You could put it in salad. You could put it in anything that the cinnamon clove would go with, and use it daily. Now, don't overuse it, okay? Don't overuse it. Try 1 drop 2 to 3 times a day. You know, like with anything, consult your doctor before you do anything like this. Herbal, natural things. If you're taking medication, if you're pregnant, if you're breastfeeding, anything like that. So just disclaimer, I'm not a herbologist. I'm just doing things that work for me and sharing them with you. Thanks for tuning in. And now what I'm going to do is put a label on here and put it in my kitchen window. Sorry you can't see me, but I thought it's more important that you saw the process. Doesn't that look amazing? Wait till this fully extracts. It's going to be a pretty golden color. Thanks, guys. Happy gardening. Hey everyone, just another quick tincture I wanted to show you today. I've already showed you the cinnamon and clove for pain killing. Now I want to show you one that you can make really quickly. It will have to set for about 6 weeks, but it's super, super, super easy to make, and I want to show that to you. So what I did is I just went outside in my garden where I have 4 or 5 rose bushes, and I ethically sourced these rose petals, okay? And what that means is that I didn't take them all. I took just the outside leaves, leaving the center, and I left plenty for the bees. So I took from every other bush only a few, and left plenty out there. What I'm going to make is just simply a stress and anxiety tincture. And what you're going to do is you're just going to grab these rose petals. I washed them off. Remember that these petals are very, very delicate, and they're mostly moisture. So what we're going to do is make a tincture, and as you know, most tinctures involve alcohol. I'm using 80 proof. You're just going to take these rose petals that you've harvested, and you're going to put them down in your jar. Okay, you don't want to cram them in there, but you want to put them in your jar. Okay, and you're just going to press them down in there. Oh, they smell wonderful. They just smell absolutely wonderful. Now I'm going to go ahead and press them in a little, but I am not going to pack them in there. Okay, you don't want to just like super pack them down. A lot of times when you're working with fresh plant matter or you're working with herbs and flowers, you will see that you cut those quite often. Like even with the cinnamon, how we chopped it a little bit. I'm just going to press them down in there just a little bit, but you see I'm not doing it hard. And I've got this filled. Now all I'm going to do, guys, is I'm going to take this vodka and I'm going to go ahead and start pouring it in. Okay? And I'm going to put it in there quite a ways. Okay? Then I'm going to stop for a moment. I'm going to get my handy dandy little chopstick. I've got the other one I used in the sink. And I'm just going to grab another one here. Got this, and I'm just going to gently go down in here like this. Just real gentle. Pressing that down in there. Okay. Just making sure. And the reason that you don't have to chop these up and everything is because they are water soluble. So what that means is that vodka that I'm using is 40% vodka, 40% water. And so the water portion of the vodka is extracting or going to be infusing the water-soluble medicinal properties from the rose petal. Then the vodka portion is going to be emulsing or, what do you call it? I can't even think now. Infusing the alcohol portion from that needs to be pulled from the rose petals with alcohol. I'm making it way complicated. It's not that complicated. It's just it's a 2-part water and alcohol extraction. So I'm going to put a little bit more in here because I don't want to waste all this space. So I'm going to do it to about right there. Okay, leaving about 1 inch. That's all I need. Okay, then I'm going to go ahead and poke it a little bit more just to make sure all the air bubbles and stuff are out. Okay. All right. Then the roses are covered. They smell wonderful, guys. They really do. Then you're just going to take your lid. I'm going to put a good lid on here tight. Now, this is going to sit in a cool, dark place for about 6 weeks. You can give it a good shake. You can go in and shake it every now and then if you want. But I'm shaking it gently. I don't want to, damage my beautiful rose petals in there. You can use any rose. You can use wild roses. You can use roses you grow in your garden. A rose is a rose is a rose, no matter what. And so you can go out and pick wild roses. I've got some growing down the road that just vine everywhere. You can try that. You have roses in your own garden. You can do that. Now that I'm turning a little more, and then all you have to do is let this sit in a cool, dark place for 6 weeks. Take it out, strain it through a coffee filter or a cheesecloth or whatever you like to strain all the liquid out. Then take that healing, soothing, stress relieving, anxiety relaxing, muscle relaxing. You come home at the end of the day, you sit in the chair and you're just like, oh, what a day. Then you're going to get yourself 5 to 10 drops of this under your tongue. You're going to figure out what's right for you. So I always say less is more. So start with 4 or 5 drops. See how that affects you. Remember, with anything that you're doing medicinally, herb-wise, or whatever, always consult your doctor. Let them know what you plan to do, especially if you're pregnant, breastfeeding, if you're planning to become pregnant, if you're on any over-the-counter medicine, prescribed medicine. Just let your doctor know exactly what you plan to do. Make sure it's fine. Also, if you're allergic in any way to roses, you obviously don't want to do that. But then you just put it in there, and then when you're feeling stressed, anxious, you have a lot of anxiety, you just kind of need to relax. It has a calming effect. It's not going to put you to sleep by any means. I mean, it's just going to help to relax you. If you've got some stuff going on internally, it's going to help relax those muscles inside your body and say, hey, calm down, just relax, relax. So it's going to be really good for that, guys. So I'm going to put this in I'm going to label it, put it in my cabinet, mark it on my calendar. I've written it down already in my tincture book. And that's it. So if you've got a little bit of vodka, what do we use? Maybe $3 or $4 worth of vodka and roses that grew in my garden in a jar. So this is going to make a lot of tincture, okay? And you say, well, you might look at it and say, that's not going to make very much. But when you're only pulling out a dropper, and this is the little tincture bottle that I have here, and I showed you on my other one, but it's a little dropper, okay? And when you pull out, say, 5 or 10 drops of this, you're not even going to notice it's gone. So this will last a good long time. Now, I will tell you, you want to use these flowers when they're fresh. You don't want to use them when they're dried up. No, you want the liquid, that's the moisture that's in those flowers. You can use dried rose flowers for other stuff, but not this tincture. You want fresh rose petals. Okay, thanks for tuning in. Again, I just showed you more the process than me because I just thought it was that important, and to show you how very simple and easy it is to make your own stress relieving, relaxing, just relax, chill out rose tincture. I hope you try it. Happy gardening. Hey, thanks for hanging in there. Thanks for watching. I hope that you learned a little bit, but just to clarify a couple of things. I'm not an herbologist. I haven't been to school I've been to school, but not for that. I really started just checking into different plants and different herbs and what's available when arthritis hit my hands pretty bad. And I had trouble holding my coffee cup, opening things. I had a lot of pain and a lot of ache in these two hands, especially the left hand. And it was pretty severe. I ended up going to the doctor and getting some medication, which takes the edge off. But if you're like me, you hate just having to take a pill for every little thing. And I just started thinking, there's got to be something. God put so many great things on this earth, and there's got to be something down here. So I just started listening, talking, asking questions, and I heard about, like, the comfrey. It took me actually 2 years to get that root, to grow it, and then to be able to harvest the leaves to make the salve that I do. But I just wanted to throw that out there, that I'm learning as I go along. I'm only infusing or creating those things that I have a need for, or somebody that's close to me has a need for, and so I just wanted to share that. But it's super, super, super easy to do some of these things, and most of the stuff we just have growing in our yard. Like when I didn't show it on this video, but dandelions. It makes a great salve, but you know that you can use the flower, you can eat the leaves, you can eat the stem and the root. Now, it's so strange because I was thinking like dandelion tea because my mom's talked about it so much. So I'm thinking you like pull the dandelions, you dry them or whatever, and then you pull the little petals, right? Because there's little seeds in there. So that's what I was thinking. So no, but I'm totally wrong. I was totally wrong in that. It's the root of the dandelion that has all that great stuff in it, and that you pull out and you wash and you chop in little pieces and you roast it in the oven for a little bit, and then you can put it in your tea. Yeah, who'd have knew? But anyway, I didn't cover that in this particular video. I just talked mostly about a few other things, but I wanted to clarify, Calendula and Marigold are not the same flower. They're different, but you can make salve from both of them, and you make salve the exact same way. Each of them has different medicinal properties. Rose petals you can use fresh or dry, and when you're doing tinctures and things like that, you really want the fresh materials, but you can use the dry leaves for other things. Comfrey, you want to have dry. I don't ingest comfrey. I will let you do your own research on that. I use comfrey just for the outside, just for the skin or the muscles. Dandelions, I've already covered that you can, do on that. But anyway, I'm not going to bore you. I just want to say, hey, thanks for hanging out with me. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. I hope you've learned a little bit of something that you didn't know. And if you have some questions, if I didn't explain something thoroughly and you have a question, leave it in the comments below because I will definitely get back to you. If you like what you're seeing, hit the subscribe and the bell so you know when I post a new video, which will be a little more regular now. I can get windy, but I just basically wanted to say thanks. Hope you learned something. Happy gardening, Rochelle, Legacy Home and Garden. Have a great summer.